some people just want to remain they want some people just want to keep their problems going. We can't assume that everybody wants a solution. I
Yes.
mean, I kind of see that in with certain in my comment section, or certain comment sections. It's like, that's fine. I mean, you could tell based on, some people will make comments and it's like a hopeful and it's like, okay, but then some people's comment is like every video is just like something negative. Like, okay, that's just what you want. I mean, that's fine. You just want to stay
Yeah,
right there. Go ahead.
I I know some people like that in real life, and I call it they give problems to every solution. Instead of solutions to every problems, you could give them
Oh,
you could give them the solution. Like, yeah, you could do this, but now they go put a
yeah.
problem on top of that solution and not do what the solution is suggesting. And they rather
Wow.
sit in
Dang.
that, and they thrive in that, and they only can function in that. And once you realize that, and I see it in my comments as well, once you realize that, you just have to let that person be. I mean, it's not to me, it's not my job to help that person to get to that next level because that person's not ready to take that next step. And
Mhm.
there's therapists, there's coaches, there's mentors, there's channels, there's so many different avenues for you to get to that next step. And I'm not one of those avenues at the in the moment in my life. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Mhm.
And I'm okay with
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's sad because you'll see people kind of like you and I who maybe more middle of the road as far, we're not, I don't necessarily consider myself like super polarizing when it comes to relationships, but in terms of how you grow on social media may not be nearly as fast as someone who's going to come out and say something
Oh yeah.
very negative, about love, or just, and I don't mean to say that Kevin Samuels was negative, but obviously someone who was like a Kevin Samuels who could do that is just going to garner more attention, more respect, you know, more whatever, because he's able to sort of create a space for people who, the 70% who want to keep coming back and kind of like
Yeah.
having a place to air their grievances.
Yeah, and
Um,
I hate that for the legacy, I guess, of Kevin Samuels because the content that I loved about him was the man, you got to get better content, not the content that a lot
mm,
of people associate with him. So he would talk about
sure.
like excuse the language, but he talk about like dick discipline. He'll talk about like get in
I've
shape.
heard.
He talk about all these different things to men, and I think that that should be more of the legacy. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, the thing that stands out the most with Kevin Samuels is the moments he had when women call up and he'll talk to women a certain way and be direct
Mhm.
and be blunt with women, and that should not be the legacy. The legacy should be how he would talk about building up men.
Mm. Yeah, because I don't
Yeah,
even when I think Kevin Samuels, I don't even think of building up men, because I got introduced to him from what he would say to women. So,
yeah, I did
and
too
I was
until I
part of
started
it too.
doing yeah
Yeah,
until I started doing
and
deep dives. Like, oh wait a minute, this is a lot better content. But that the
mm,
better content was not the one that amplified him to get to the space that he was at.
mm,
Which
exactly.
yeah,
My point exactly. So
yeah,
that lets you know a lot too. It's like, if you want to have a quote successful, and I'm putting that in quotes, this is, but in terms of numbers on social media, then it's sad that that has to be associated with perhaps putting someone down in a certain type of way,
yeah.
or chastising, certain types of women. And and again, I was one of
Or
those
just
people
certain
who actually
groups.
felt like, what'd you say?
I say even certain groups.
Or certain groups.
Yeah,
I
like
actually felt like,
yeah, I don't
yeah,
want to cut you off. I just want to put
oh
this
no, go
out
ahead.
there, off topic, on topic. So like FBA, right? The Foundational Black Americans. There were some group of people that's in those groups have to talk down on people who are not Black Americans. And it's like you don't have to
Mm,
talk down about other groups of Black people in America that's not Black
yeah,
Americans to get your point across about being a foundational Black American. But that
agreed.
is the formula that gets the numbers up. That's the formula that get the group thinking. That's the formula that get the more cult type following. But me
Interesting.
personally, I just don't want that. I don't want that kind of responsibility.
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. Um, wow, that's yeah, I didn't even really know that part, but yeah, so I think it's just important that people have channels, like yours, like mine, where I share things that I believe are true, and some people might think that they're polarizing, but it's really not. It's really like no, it's polarized. See, and that's another thing. It's like, I think I can be a little. I guess I consider myself like off code, not racially off code. I think I'm kind of off the gender code because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, when they see a black woman who looks like me, they expect me to say certain things, and they probably
Mhm.
expect me to be very much like strong, black, independent. We don't need no man because that's maybe my look is associated with women who might feel like that. But then when
Yeah.
I say something about loving a black man, it just throws them off. Like, girl, what
Yeah.
what what are you talking about? Love
So they
black
want you to
men? No,
affirm. They want you to affirm they beliefs of how they feel or what the situation they're in.
exactly.
Yes.
And I decided very early when I got on YouTube I as I started filming, I was like, "Whoa, this is probably going to upset people who think they know me." But I just couldn't. It was just a lot of things that I heard black women saying on Instagram and wherever, and I just didn't agree with. And I was like,
Mhm.
I just have to speak from what I feel. In I, as it has shown, of course, was not able to build. Most of my followers are men,
Yeah.
because I wasn't saying the things that where women felt like, I could sort of validate them.
Mhm.
So it is what it is,
Yeah. It is what it
you
is, and
know.
that's just how social media works. People evolve, grow, or they don't have they have the aesthetic, and when you see a person say something, and that with that message don't match the aesthetic, you get upset about it. I see that a lot.
Exactly. The
Yep.
message does not match the aesthetic. I have natural
Hmm.
hair. I look like a regular black woman. Okay, be regular, girl. What? You telling me that I need to, I need to actually, because again, the whole thing was when I got online, divesting was huge. And a lot of
Hmm.
black women, were coming out talking about not dating black men. Look at Cynthia G. You know,
That's another one.
her whole
Yeah.
she's a regular looking black woman, but her following, very massive following, is built on the backs of not liking and loving black men. And
Hmm.
so people, I think some of her followers were coming over to my channel and thinking I was going to speak like her, and were very disappointed when they saw that that didn't happen.
Yeah. Like I said,
Sorry.
they just want to affirm. They just want to have an affirmation of their the chaos in their mind. That's what they want.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of money
exactly.
in that too. It's a lot of money in it, but there's other ways to make money. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't be that person.
Well, yeah, and then the sad part is a lot of these people like Cynthia G. I don't know much about her, but allegedly don't live offline what they're talking about online. It's like you're on here talking about don't date black men, don't have babies with them, but then you go and have a baby with a black man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
So again, it's you know you have to be careful with all this online stuff because who's really living what they're talking about? you know like the videos that I make, all of it comes from a real place. Like I'll tell people, if you really want to get to know me, watch my videos. I might be talking
Mhm.
about a celebrity, but I'm connected to that story for a reason. I'm
Mhm.
connected to what I'm talking about for a reason. So if I'm talking about getting checked, oh, Nelia checked Ashanti, yeah, maybe I just got checked, I don't know. But there's a reason why I'm talking about it. And so yeah, I think that's another important thing is like looking at, and not granted people don't know everything about a person's personal life, but
Mhm.
and this was always my criticism of Kevin Samuels. He was never really vulnerable, and I don't mean crying, but like he never, well, and I shouldn't say he never because I don't know everything, but to me it came off like whatever he was talking about, I was like, well, does he have it himself?
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like it. So, um, and then if he
Yeah.
doesn't have it, why not? Like
Yeah.
my thing is if you're gonna preach something, and if you don't have it, that's fine. But what are you doing in your own life to to pursue the things that you're telling all these other men and women to pursue. Like
Yeah.
that's a reassurance I need if I'm following someone. Like I need to
Yes.
know that either you have it, you're trying to get it, or something. But don't just get up and preach, and then in your own life you're void of that very thing. It's kind of weird to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. But that's unfortunately that's the formula that we see time and time again on social media. But that goes back to the whole question that we started talking about. What we seeing online, is it the same thing as real life? And unfortunately, a lot of times it's not. It's not.